Good morning. Sue Ring here with the Kissimmee Osceola County Chamber of Commerce. It's my pleasure to welcome our viewers to our weekly webcast series where we focus on the community topic or timely issue to help bring information to our residents and our business community. Here at the Chamber, we are champions for business and community, and so it's important for us to make sure that our businesses and residents are well informed. This morning, we have an opportunity to hear from somebody who's going to share some information about a topic that impacts us all each and every day, and that is traffic and transportation. Tawny Orlore serves as the Executive Director of Osceola County's Transportation and Transit Department. And in her position, she oversees a team of over 48 staff and partners in the planning, development, implementation, and execution of transportation and transit projects throughout Osceola County. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Tawny so she can share with us all transportation, what's going on, what projects the county is focused on to keep us moving. Good morning, Tawny. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Sue. Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about transportation in Osceola County. So I appreciate all you inviting me and all of your viewers listening today.
Well, thank you. So if you can go ahead and share with us, maybe an overview of what your responsibilities or what the department responsibilities are. And most importantly, I'm sure our viewers are very interested in what projects are on the plate for our transportation to help keep Osceola County moving.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the Board of County Commissioners actually formed the Transportation and Transit Department about a little over 4 years ago when I came on board at Osceola County. And so what our department does is actually plan, design, construct, and maintain all of the signals and the signs within Osceola County. So the board, by doing that, really put a focus on transportation in Osceola. Next slide, please. The reason for that is because Osceola County, as you all know, residents of Osceola County, the population growth in this county is outstanding. I put this slide together just to show you in the 1 year spread, and these are the latest forecasts from the Bureau of Economic and Business Research from the University of Florida. Just between, April 1st of 2019 and April 1st of 2020, Osceola County grew at a pace of 5%. And when you compare that to Orange and Seminole, you can see the closest is Orange at 2%. We're also supposed to double our population by 2045. That just puts a lot of strain on our infrastructure. So we have a pretty robust transportation program, not only in Osceola County, but our partner agencies that we'll go through today. Next slide, please. So our fiscal year 21 adopted capital projects budget is a little bit more than 44 million. It's almost 45 million. And the majority that you can see of that is in roads. These are all of our road projects that we're currently designing and buying right of way. And we'll talk more about that. Next slide, please. The funding sources for our budget really come from our mobility fee zones, as well as in 2019, the board refinanced the Osceola Parkway bonds, and that gave us an influx of cash of about $210 million that we're using for our work program. Next slide, please. Our operating budget is about $45 million. Now, over half of that is public works, road and bridge. Those public works uses those funds to resurface roadways, fix drainage issues and things like that. So their budget of the 45 million is about 23 million. The rest of it is we also fund links, our transportation transit service throughout the county. That's funded to about 9.4 million. Next slide, please. The funding for that budget really comes out of all of our gas taxes. So Road and Bridge uses all of our gas taxes to resurface roadways. We use it for links. We also use it to put signs up, as well as the markings on the roadways. Next slide, please. A big part of our project too, and you may hear this out in the business in the business world is that we work a lot with developers. So it sort of takes like a village to have a transportation program. So one of our members is our development community, which is very important to us. So as new developments come in, we work with the developers to get framework roads in place, and we enter into mobility fee agreements with them. And so since those mobility fee ordinance has been enacted since 2016, we have about 23 developer agreements to a tune of about $94 million of transportation framework improvements. So we couldn't do this without our developer partners. Next slide, please. So we have a pretty robust widening program going on right now, and I'm just going to go through all of these different projects so that you all can see where we're at. And this is really important, I think, not just to the citizens, but also the business owners, because widening a road from 2 to 4 lanes, adding bike paths, adding sidewalks, adding shoulders, median turn lanes, that all helps the business communities sort of get into and out of the roadways and the different developments. So that's really important. The other thing it does with widening roadways, if you think of Neptune Road, that's a 2-lane road without shoulders, with steep ditches. And when that gets clogged and congested, you know, the first responders can't get through. And I know there's a big initiative within the chamber called Health Leadership Network. And so this widening program will really have a very good impact on that, the chamber, as well as, you know, providing those additional opportunities for links and transit service. Next slide, please. The first road, this one is going to be the first road that we start constructing in the next year. It's Simpson Road. We're going to widen that from 2 to 4 lanes from Myers Road all the way to Boggy Creek. So again, I won't go through all the typical sections, but no, as we're widening these roads, we're adding sidewalks, we're adding multi-use trails, we're adding bike paths, we're adding sort of that complete streets for the roadway so that users, not just cars, but other users can utilize that infrastructure. We're going to look to go under construction actually for this roadway this year in the third quarter of 2021. And we have a real good partner opportunity with this roadway. DOT is actually funding the majority of the road. 14 million is coming from DOT with it matched with county. Next slide, please. We are also continuing the widening of Simpson Road from Myers Road all the way up to US 192. So that project, we just held a public meeting for that project. We're entering into about 60% design plans. We're going to start our right-of-way activities next month, and we look to start construction on that roadway by the quarter 3 of 2023. And I would say also, we have a very, very robust website. And so on each of the slides, you will see where you can find information on the roadway. I would encourage anybody, all business owners, all the public, if you want the latest and greatest information on any of these roadways, just go to our website and you'll find user-friendly, you'll find schedules there. Next slide, please. The Boggy Creek Road will also be widened all the way from Simpson to Narcosi from 2 to 4 lanes as well. We held the public meeting on that one on March 4th, and I was presenting this to the Board of County Commissioners the other day, and I said, I just love going to these public meetings because everyone is like, oh, thank you for widening this roadway. So we're very popular. We've been also offering virtual meetings as well as in person. So I would encourage, all those presentations are on our websites too, if you've missed to go to that public meeting. This preferred alternative is going to our board on April 5th. And once that's approved by the board, then we can enter into the design for this roadway. We look to start construction on this roadway in the fall of 2023 as well. We also have a partner opportunity with this. The board will be looking to approve an agreement we have with the city of Orlando and Tavistock to provide over $6 million of funding for this road. Next slide, please. Bill Beck, this is an agreement that we had with the city of Kissimmee and the developer. And so all of this will be a new lane, 2-lane road from Osceola Parkway down to Woodcrest. The plans are pretty much complete, and we're going to start construction on this roadway in the fall of this year as well. Next slide, please. Parton Settlement will be widened all the way to Lakeshore. And this, we had a public meeting already in January. This project is currently in design. We look to start right-of-way acquisition by the end of this year and construction in 2023 as well. Next slide, please. Poinciana Boulevard is another one of our roads that we're widening. This will be widened from 2 to 4 lanes from Pleasant Hill all the way to Crescent Lakes Way, which is the end of the 4-lane currently. This one has also moved into design, and we went to the board on this one in March. We look to start right-of-way acquisition by the end of this year and construction in 2023 as well. Next slide, please. Neptune Road, we get a lot about when is Neptune going to be finished. So I know this is a big commuter road between St. Cloud and Kissimmee, an important one. So we're actually, this one is as far along as the Simpson 234. We've got about 60% design plans finalized. We will be having a public meeting for this in April. We also are starting right-of-way activities next month. And we look to start construction by the end of next year as well. So that's really good. I mean, that's really on the horizon. We federally cleared this roadway. So if there's any stimulus dollars that's supposed to be forecast to come to Florida, we're working with our federal partners and our local and state partners on this one too. Next slide, please. We have a partnership project as well with 532. Central Florida Expressway Authority is extending Poinciana Parkway from 1792 all the way to 532, which is our Osceola Polk County line. And so we will be widening this from the ending of the existing 4 lanes, which is at Old Lake Wilson, all the way to US 1792. And we have a partner with CFX. They'll be paying for about 1/3 of those roadway costs as part of their Poinciana Parkway extension costs. So always looking for those partner opportunities to extend our Osceola dollar. We look to, CFX is actually helping us manage this project. So they're looking to start construction in 23 or 24. Next slide, please. We also have an Old Lake Wilson Road. So we always like to have projects in the pipeline. So as funding becomes available from our state and federal partners, we always have a project ready to receive it. So as you can see, and I talk a lot about, it's in design, it's going into construction. Well, this project, Old Lake Wilson, is in our, what we call our project development environment stage. It's the step before design. So we've started that in December of last year, and that PD&E will be finished in the first quarter of 2023. And before that, we'll be looking for design dollars to continue that project with the widening. Next slide, please. Hoagland Boulevard is open. Yay, I just keep this slide on here because we're so proud of this road. We finished it a year ahead of schedule and under budget. And so this project was really an important project. We received over $19 million in state grant funds. And so we proved to DOT that we can do these type of projects that they can do as well. Next slide, please. So I keep talking about opportunity grants, partner projects. A lot of our work program comes from the Florida Department of Transportation as well as our MetroPlan Orlando friends. So we're working with about $40.5 million right now in just grant projects that come in to Osceola County that we manage. And it just shows that how important our partners are to us in extending our funding. And these funding can fund roadways, trails, sidewalks, signals, we are always looking for any kind of opportunity to get those grant funds in. Next slide, please. We have a lot of other county projects too. I just wanted to mention that are underway and under construction, design, and planning. We have an awful lot of signals, you know, as our roadway and our development and people move here, it places a lot more traffic on our roadways. And so we're always looking at additional signals. And the signals that we're putting in really what I call our smart signals. We're able to monitor them from our traffic management center. And that way, it's not just widening roads, but it's moving cars efficiently. So we're able to change signal timing to make sure that, you know, as those main thoroughfares are going, people are not waiting because of a side street for overlong. So we have a number of signals underway. We're also Osceola Parkway. We're going to all electronic tolling there. We're going to get rid of the collecting of cash. So that's a design build project that was just approved by the board a few weeks ago. Next slide. And this is just a listing of some other projects that we have in design and planning. Again, seeing those pipeline, always having projects in planning, design, and then in construction. Next slide, please. Our partners, I keep mentioning them throughout. I cannot say enough about our partners. We can't do all of the transportation improvements that need to be done in Osceola without Florida's Turnpike, without DOT, and without the Central Florida Expressway Authority. So our staff monitors all these projects. We attend project management meeting. So we also approve typical sections. We work with our partners to provide any support that they may need. Next slide, please. So what does that mean? What does our partner projects mean to Osceola? And the next two slides are really impactful, I think. Over the next 5 years, our partners are pumping in about $1.5 billion into Osceola County for transportation improvements. That includes widening the turnpike. That includes the quad road at John Young Parkway and Pleasant Hill, the widening of 1792. That includes the new beltway within Osceola County that Central Florida Expressway is working on. So that's very impactful, and we need to support our partners and make sure that, you know, we are getting our fair share, and we are definitely with $1.5 billion worth of transportation improvements. Next slide, please. So what does this mean? All of this work program that we have and our partners have, it means that there's nearly $2 billion over the next 5 years being pumped into our transportation. That's not enough, though. We still have a lot of roadways that are on our list that need to be widening, but I think it's a very, very impactful beginning. And I think that the residents, once we get through the pain of getting through the construction in the next 5 years, we'll really start seeing a difference for our businesses, for our residents, for our visitors. Next slide, please. So with that, I called that last slide my drop the mic slide. So with that, if there are any questions, I'll certainly take them.
Thank you, Tawny. What a robust, I think your presentation shows what a robust program of work that the Transportation Department has and gives us a better understanding of what's involved. I heard the keyword of partnership over and over again, that Osceola County is certainly not trying to tackle this on their own. And the steps involved I mean, a lot of moving parts, no pun intended, from having projects in the pipeline ready to go, the design phase, all the steps that are involved. It shows that it's a really all-encompassing effort in order to widen the roads and make sure that our residents and businesses, that we can move about and, you know, freely among our community. So I can't thank you enough. That transportation is so important. As you mentioned, you know, the Chamber Foundation with our work in the Health Leadership Council and ensuring that first responders, you know, have access as they need to respond to emergencies, as well as our residents can get to and from appointments and move freely about our community, to the One Vision initiative out in the Four Corners area, such a critical area for our tourists, as well as our residents and businesses, just everything that's involved in helping keep Osceola on the move. So thank you again so much for joining us this morning and sharing this all-encompassing oversight of transportation in Osceola County. So again, thank everybody for joining us this morning for our 15 minutes, a timely topic, and we hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.